Alrighty. Credits! Finally! There's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Finally conquered. Holy cow, did this take forever. Oh my goodness. I didn't write down any thoughts for this game, primarily because I've been streaming it for a minimum of 9 hours a day, but probably on average more like 10 or 11 hours per day. It's been kind of crazy. So I guess I'm just going to kind of go off the dome here. I'm probably going to be missing a lot of stuff, but overall thoughts, I enjoyed the game quite a bit. I had a lot of fun with the systems. I had a lot of fun with the story. I had a lot of fun with the exploration. I had a lot of fun with the theory crafting. There was a lot of aspects of this game that really kind of progressed old systems and also harkened back to old systems. And then it had me intrigued the entire way of, like, how are they going to merge these past two games into one game? And truthfully, I don't really think they did that. This game really does feel like just a standalone game, much like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 was, and much like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was. I personally did not see the connections between 1 and 2, and I don't see the connections between 2 and 3, and I don't see the connections between 1 and 3, other than the very specific nods that don't really amount to anything. If you told me if the queens were just anybody else, like random new characters, it wouldn't change the way the game works. You could still have the exact same story. So I don't think the queens needed to be from the previous games. Maybe there's more planned there. But I've reached credit, so it's a little too late to start working on that stuff. So yeah, I would say that with that said, I'm still pleased with the game quite a bit. Had a ton of fun, and I wouldn't sink 100 hours into a game and at the rate that I have without enjoying it. And I did so many side quests too. Holy cow. Yikes. But let's see, thoughts on the story. I think it's better for me to say I'm very much a journey and not a ending sort of person. So that is to say that I prefer and I enjoy if the journey to the ending is good, I will enjoy the story in the game. And if the ending is atrocious or bad or whatever, it's not really going to affect how I feel about the game. And that is very much the case with this game. I think the journey to the ending was intriguing and interesting, and they presented a lot of questions. They presented a lot of theories to kind of build off of and see how they would progress throughout the game. I don't think the ending really wrapped up all of that nicely. I feel like Mobius as a whole is still very much an enigma in this case. I think they built them up to be great villains. They just didn't really, I guess, give them the motivation that I was looking for. It just, they want to stop time because it's just, I guess that's just how it's gonna work out here. Let me see. I think there's also some aspects that stick out to me that really do need some answers, like Riku, for example. That Succofu knows something. Also, Nappan. They didn't there was no conversation about how Nappan are in this world or how they exist in this world that I have read anyways. There might have been a like a campfire talk that I skipped or something like that. But it's kind of weird. It's extremely weird that this world consists of people who only live to be 10 years old, and then you have these Nappan who are an entire race completely, and they just have their own existence, and they commingle with all of these other factions and things like that, and nobody questions that. It would be so much more believable if the Nappan were actually, like the secret villains that were orchestrating and puppet stringing everything in the game, as far as like how the narrative has been presented. But they're Nappan, so who's gonna look at a Nappan and be like, you're the mastermind? They're too cute and all that other junk. So yeah, so there's that. There's a lot of loose ends. And I guess that's that. But as far as like the enjoyability of the story, I like how they introduced characters. I like how they did character building. I really like the main cast. I think everybody in the main cast was interesting and kind of meant to be there. I think Senna didn't really have any character development, and any character development that she got was extremely forced and random, and that was kind of sad. But like, other than her, I think everyone else really had like a nice story and a little bit of an arc to the character. Uni was by far my favorite character. She's so witty, she's so snappy, she has great one-liners, she has great phrases. The voice actor did a phenomenal job. Really liked Uni. I like Lance. Lance is just kind of, he kind of has my approach to things. He asks the right questions at the right times. Sometimes they're stupid questions, but he will ask them, and that's something that I do sometimes. So I respect Lance a lot. And then the other characters were great too. They were more standard, I suppose. Noah and Neo, they were standard JRPG protagonists, clinging to hope, all that other good stuff. For gameplay mechanics and design, I'll let this finish, just in case. Remember at the beginning of the game, we had this cutscene and all those birds were flying, and then the birds froze.
What are you doing, man? They'll start the fireworks without us.
Get a move on already, or all the good spots will be taken.
Exactly, so come on, move it.
Sorry, I zoned out for a sec. I'm coming.
Okay. That's that. For gameplay mechanics and design, I really had a lot of fun with the combat system. I thought the combat system was great. Um, I liked how they spaced out all the mechanics. I think they spaced it out perfectly so that you didn't feel overwhelmed at the beginning, but you always felt like there was one more thing that they could add, because the combat was very it's very slow, but it's slow in a good way. Like when you use an art to do an attack, you have that space to read what's going on in the fight and kind of react to it, or figure out what you're planning to do next. And each time they add another layer to the combat, it shortens that gap, but it doesn't feel like, oh no, I'm running out of time. It's like, oh, now I can add another aspect to my strategy. And since I'm already familiar with everything before it, it makes the combat feel faster, even though it's moving at the same pace. It's a really brilliant way of having a combat in a JRPG like this. It's super nice. I would say that in terms of like sorting options, I've mentioned this quite a few times. I think the sorting options in this game really need some work. Trying to find specific things, trying to find out where those things are, trying to find out what those things drop from. It's a very difficult thing to navigate. And that goes with arts as well. There's, this whole list of arts, and you only have a few sorting options to choose from, and they're just not really good enough. There's some good aspects to it, like you can favorite some things, which is really cool. You can pin some things in like the food menu, so like that's cool. But if there was a way to like type out what you're looking for specifically, because some of those menus, there's so many things to scroll through. It's insane. There was a menu I showed earlier, many hours ago, where like the scroll bar was like this, like a pin needle's thickness. There was just so much stuff to go through. I think it was the accessories. How am I supposed to find the accessories that I want to build? I would have to scroll through every single one. What if I want to sell my accessories? How do I sell my accessories in a way that doesn't require me to scroll through every single accessory? It's insane. You could spend hours selling accessories. Crazy. I'm trying to think of anything else. And I think I'll probably leave it at that. I do like the customization. I like that not only can I choose 3 arts for my standard class, but I have this special art that like builds up its use, I guess, based off of the arts that I'm using. And on top of that, I have a secondary art system which can be fused with my first art system to kind of make more powerful attacks and like build other kind of setups and whatnot. So that was really nice as well. And that extends to, there's this gem system that you could do to make your characters more powerful. There's the interlink skill tree, which makes your interlinks more powerful. There's skills, which you can customize to make yourself more powerful. It's very, very cool how much customization there is. And then on top of that, you have like all these different classes that have all these different abilities, and they all go up to level 10, and then they all go up to level 20. The amount of theory crafting you can do is enormous, and the amount of factual evidence there is that Juniper's class is absolutely the worst class in the game, is right there in front of us. So it's really cool how much experimentation you can do to kind of figure out what's great and what's Juniper's class. Let's see, for other stuff, I really like the voice acting. I totally applaud the type of language that this game did. I really feel like a lot of games out there don't put any emphasis on language. This game, it focused on, we'll say, like a region of voice actors. I guess plus Australia or New Zealand. But like mainly that European region, and then Australia, New Zealand, and maybe some other places too. But and so like first right there, it didn't just sound like, oh, we got a bunch of English speaking people from North America or what have you that just speak the language. It was a totally different accent that was different than what I'm used to hearing in games, and I love that. I love that. I don't. It's weird to say that they took a chance doing that, but it really is taking a chance to kind of bring different accents into the forefront. You know, usually they're like side characters or something like that. But they brought it to every single character, and I think every single character sounds really good, except for Shania. And then on top of that, there was something else that I was going to mention that I totally forgot. So I'll just say that I like the voice acting a lot. I think it did a really good job. Trying to go down the list of my document, and I'm not thinking of anything. So I guess I say replay value. Does this game have any replay value? And I judge replay value in the sense of, if I were to play this, if I were to do like New Game Plus, or if I were to start the game over again, would I experience a brand new story instead of the exact same story that I had already experienced? And I don't think I would be getting that out of this game. So I would say that for me, there's no replay value in that regard, because if I were replaying the game from start to finish, I would want essentially a brand new experience. And experiencing the same experience that I had previously experienced is not going to cut it for me. But that's just how I rate replay value. It's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing if a game has replay value. It's just a very interesting thing that I look for in games to see if they have it. If the developer is watching, I will definitely say that I enjoyed this game a ton. It's certainly up there with some of the more enjoyable games that I've ever played. And it definitely sparked some emotion in kind of playing a game in this way, and like experiencing how it plays out and how it's going to come to its conclusion. It was laid out really well. The journey was so good. I feel like it was paced in a way that you know, you always had a question left to ask, and the characters, they could always ask more questions, but it didn't feel like they left anything out per se. And so like you always felt like, okay, we can move on from here and maybe come back to this stuff later. So that was really nice. And I really liked the world too. I didn't even mention like the world and exploration all that much. Xenoblade Chronicles really does excel in having this large world that you could just roam around and see marvels in the landscape itself. But then on top of that, the creatures that inhabit those areas. It's such a negative thing for me to be roaming around in an area, like a level 20 area, and all of a sudden there's this level 88 that's in there. It's like, what are you doing? But for some reason in Xenoblade Chronicles, it's exciting, and it kind of like it invokes that feeling of, you know, like I have to be on my toes, and I know that guy's there, so I just have to go around him. And he's not, and like those enemies are rarely intrusive. They're usually out of the way. So I really like the approach that I guess they did with that. It's fun to explore areas and to be like, is there going to be a unique over here? What level is that unique going to be? Can I fight him right now? Do I have to fight him later? It's really awesome. I wish you could like mark uniques on the map so that, you know, the ones that you forget know where they are. I feel like this game desperately needs that. There, you know, maybe some other things on the map too, but yeah, I would say that this game is quite amazing and quite enjoyable. So yeah, let me go through this stuff and see if there's anything left for whatever. You can now use the level up function at response to lower your character's levels as well. Doing so will net you bonus experience for any levels you choose to give up. You can set your hero's accessories from character's accessories in the main menu. Oh, heroes. Okay. We needed that in main game, but okay. These special weapons, that looks like the Monado. These can be equipped from clothing attachments to give your weapon a very special appearance. Usable class sword fighter only. We'll save the game. Final time comes out. Ooh.
We have to keep track of our progress.
107:17. This might be the longest game that I have played on stream. Absolutely crazy.
As the morning sun rises, my lingering memories fade. I no longer see your silhouette. It's too far gone into the haze. But hey, it's all right. I won't forget you. Not until we can meet again. I swear it.
All right. Just checking if it is actually, and it is. The second longest game that I have played, at least so far, was 105 hours and 17 minutes, coincidentally. That one's 102. Yeah, I think that one's the top dog. Oh, wait, nope. It's number 2. I have one at 121. I think it was 126 that it was supposed to be. But anyways, this is going to be the end of my thoughts. I am going to press the continue button. I want to see if there's anything that new that pops up there, and if there's anything pertinent, you know, I'll add that into this. But if there's not, then this is where my thoughts video ends. Yeah.